first thing you need to do is be safe. Disconnect the appliance or turn off the breaker to avoid electric shock. Hello guys, welcome to DIY Repair Now. Today we're going to be working on a Maytag Bravos top load. And the problem that we have with this model is that it's leaking water. The model number, it's on the display. So there's the model number again. So the complaint is that it's been leaking water on the floor. So at first we thought it was one of the water hoses, but it ended up being the water valve. So we're gonna go ahead and put a test right now, just trying to make it fill. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Just go ahead and press the subscribe button, turn on the bell to receive notifications. Go ahead and disconnect the back panel and also that little cover there to be able to remove this back panel and also to be able to get to the water valve. So as you see, we have like a little trail. We thought that it was just a water hose, but once we got, we check underneath, make sure we don't have any water residuals from the top seal. So, but that was not the issue. So once we make the water valve to fill, we end up, find out that it was leaking from the water valve itself. This is the water valve. That is the hot and the cold side. And in a minute, it's gonna start filling up right there. And as you see, it's leaking from one of the gaskets or seals or maybe one of the solenoids. So we're gonna go ahead and start replacing this water valve. We're gonna go ahead and close the hot side and cold side water valve, and we're gonna go ahead and remove the water hoses from the actual water valve. Just grab some pliers or channel locks that you have a home, or if you're a technician, you should have a channel lock with you, and just go counterclockwise and it will come loose. Just be prepared for water to spill down. Just put a towel on the floor or get like a bucket. Remove those two screws from the top panel. And right now you're gonna see this, how this comes out. You have to move it forward, and now you got to put your hand like right in the middle. That way it goes evenly up and then back and then raise it up, and that's the way it goes. If you have to wash that little piece again to be able to do it right, just go back on the video. That have to sit right there to be able to keep in place, because otherwise it will go off track. Next thing, you're gonna go ahead and put some tape on the lid on this door, because if you don't do that, the whole panel is gonna bang back on you. So you want to go ahead and put some tape. I got electrical tape, but you can use duct tape, silver tape, any kind of tape. And now you're gonna be able to see the two clips that holds the top cover in place, and that is preventing us to get to the water valve. You go ahead and release those clamps, and like I said, that's pretty simple. Once those clips are released, now you're going to move this forward to be able to release. Let me get here in the back, and now you're going to see how I go ahead and put it in an angle up and then out. You see that it goes up and then it will come right out. Once you got it out, you see that's where the hole and the clamps are going. That's the way you're going to put it back in place. Now we're going to go ahead and start removing these terminals, this wiring from the old water valve, and just use like a needle nose plier or a flathead screwdriver to remove these terminals, because sometimes they can be very stuck in place, which that's kind of good thing, because otherwise it would do a wrong connection. But once you have to remove it, it's a little bit hard to get these terminals out. So remove the two 1/4 screws that's holding the water valve in place, and just wiggle it out. As you see, we have another wiring going. That's the I believe that's the temperature sensor wiring, or something that's, yeah, it's like a sensor, senses how much water goes in there. You see that yellowy thing is because it's water being getting into the metal. This is the part. I'm gonna go ahead and put a link of the description of this video, and then you can go ahead and order your valve from Amazon or Repair Clinic. Okay, go ahead and open the box, and here is our new water valve, and this is the new one. You can choose to install a aftermarket one or a OEM one. The aftermarket works fine as well, so that would be more affordable for you. This is the wiring harness for the sensor, and this is the water valve sitting in place. Make sure it sits the right way and align it with the 2 screws on the side. Make sure you put the screws back in place. Make sure don't over tighten it. If you want doing it by hand, it's best because you make sure you don't over tighten it. I'm so used to it that I do it with the drill, no problem. Go ahead and put your terminals and wiring back in place, and make sure they secure in place. And just make sure everything sits on the right position. Go ahead and set your top panel in place and push it in the front into a clips in place. You will hear a clip. Once you hear that click, that is secure in place. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and remove the tape from the lid, and as you see, I'm demonstrating again how to get that off. Move it forward, a little bit up and then back, and then we'll release it from that little clamp right there. There you go. You release it from there, and then it will come right up. Go ahead and remove the black tape. This is electrical tape, but again, you can use any tape just to hold the lid. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing. Move it forward and then back until it sits in place. Go ahead and install the 2 screws that holds this top panel in place to prevent it from going to the front and all over the place. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the top panel. Go ahead and put a couple screws to sit that in place and to be able to connect the water hoses back. Remember, these are 1/4 screws, so you're gonna need a 1/4 bit on your drill or 1/4 screwdriver. Now we'll go ahead and install this cover. Now we're gonna go ahead and install our water hoses. Just like so. Just go clockwise. And go ahead and tighten it with your channel locks. Make sure you don't over tighten it because you can damage the gasket that it's inside the water hose. And make sure you don't untread the wrong way or tread it back again the wrong way. If it doesn't go in easily, that means you treading it wrong, and that's gonna damage the new water valve. When you put the water hose, you should just go ahead and start doing it by hand, and it should go in with your hand. You don't have to torque it right at the beginning. That's how you know if you put it in the wrong way. Now we plug it in, and we're gonna go ahead and try to make it fill. I'm gonna go ahead and remove a couple screws just to demonstrate that it's not leaking anymore. Remember, I have to put this cover in to be able to, you know, put the water hoses. But now I think it wasn't necessary, so I'm trying to get this cover out just to show you guys that it's not leaking anymore. And in a couple seconds, it's gonna start filling up again. You're gonna be able to hear the water coming in, and there's no water gonna be leaking whatsoever. That's where it starts beginning the cycle. And in a few seconds, it's gonna go ahead and start filling up. Again, guys, don't forget to subscribe. That's gonna help us to create more content. You can also leave a tip, but if you don't have any way to leave a tip, just go ahead and subscribe, like this video. That helps us a lot. As you see, it's filling in and there's no water leaking. That means this job is done and it's been a success. Let's put everything back again. Install the screws back in place. I kind of work a lot in this model, but when we're doing the shock saw, my suggestions, if you are in the job site, just go ahead and make sure you adjust the 4 legs on the washer, because if the cabinet on the washer is sitting on the floor, or in this case in this drain pan, is going to start going all over the place. It's going to start going off balance. So make sure you adjust those legs. That way, sure the actual metal, basically the cabinet, is not hitting the drain pan or the floor. Adjust the 2 in the front and adjust the 2 in the back to prevent this from happening. At this point, we're pretty much done. And that's it. Thanks for watching.
If this video helped you in any way, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for future videos. Thanks for watching.